Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what I unfortunately have to say is the final Heaton House Farm Supply Showcase. Super sad news, but we've had some fantastic weeks, and I hope they've really helped you when it's come to your wedding planning and picking out some fantastic suppliers. And tonight is no different. So we have the wonderful Sam Fitton Magic, who is actually affectionately known by many here at Heaton House Farm as Magic Sam. So let's bring him on in, and we'll get chatting.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm just updating my Facebook to share this video.
Oh, I thought you were just doing some DIY a minute ago.
Oh yeah. We're not even joking. The seconds before going live, I was repositioning a few things in the office, and anyway, it just felt required.
Yes, well, if anyone knows you, Sam, like I do, I know that you are super good at your job, and you are pretty techie as well, which is really, really handy. So I always come to you when I've got software problems and things like that. So you're very helpful.
Thanks.
There we go. Right. So a bit of a general one, Sam. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, well, as of March 2020, I was a full-time professional magician. And
changed a little bit now.
I like mountain biking. That's a good photo.
That's a great photo. That's brilliant.
How did you get that? And then you've been following me, Sarah. You're stalking me again.
I think Olivia's got these photos. I'm not accepting responsibility.
What's going on? Olivia's been doing it. That's even weirder.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've set the tone here for all the viewers at home. I'm a professional magician by trade, so I specialize in weddings, corporate events. I've been described as everything from human Lucasade to social lubricant, which sounds very rude, but essentially my job is basically, that's my dog. He could walk down the steps, but he didn't want to walk up them because he could see through them as he was walking up the steps, so I had to carry him. And my job basically is to turn up at events and just have fun with people in any way, shape or form that takes. I use the medium of magic normally, however it normally descends into a little bit of anarchy and a lot of fun. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
Absolutely. And I've seen fire, I've seen champagne, I've seen quite a bit. Obviously, there's lots of things, and I think probably some of the photos that we've got coming up in a short while probably showcase your act a little bit better. And hopefully, you're going to do a little bit of magic at the end of this as well, which I'll give it
a go. I mean, I'm a bit rusty, but I'll give it a go.
I was going to say, have you been practicing? Do you still know what to do?
Yeah, just about.
Good.
You have to practice like any skill. There's a certain amount of practice. Obviously, if I'm performing a lot, then you don't really need to practice because performing is practice in a way. However, obviously, given the current climate and things and these unprecedented times,
we're not allowed to use that word, Sam. I've only spoken about this. That and pivoted. Those are two banned words tonight.
I'm sorry. I only said that to annoy Sarah. I'm sorry. But in these current times, then obviously I'm performing less, so therefore you have to practice more. But it's good. It keeps you sharp.
It does, definitely. So this is quite an interesting story, and I actually think I know part of it. But how did you actually get into the industry? Because you haven't been doing magic all your life, have you?
I've been. I think. Good question. How I got into the industry and how long have I been doing magic? Two very different stories.
Okay, we'll merge them into one then.
Okay, so I got into magic because I had my eyes removed, and I'm pretty sure I've told you that before.
No? You have.
Yeah. So it's the weirdest story. Everyone in the office now is going, what? But no, that's true. Basically, I had to go through with this operation as a kid, and my parents basically did what all parents do to their children, which is basically bribe them. I was bribed with this magic trick, basically, that I really wanted to know how it was done. And so I went through this operation and I got this magic trick as a reward. The caveat that I didn't realize at the time when agreeing to go through with this was that basically for 2 weeks after the operation, I couldn't see. So therefore, I had to wait 2 weeks until after the operation, really, to actually get my hands on this magic trick. However, so I could leave the hospital just after the op. A nurse prized my eyes open. Because your eyes basically go into lockdown. I know, I'm getting graphic. A nurse prized my eyes open, and then the one thing that I saw was my dad playing with this magic trick, and then my eyes locked shut. 2 weeks, and then So yeah,
Oh, really?
so since
How
then,
rude of your dad to nick
yeah,
the magic
I
box,
know. But and so since then, I've just been hooked. So that's how I started in magic. But then, to be quite honest, getting into weddings was a little bit of an accident. You know, I've had very mixed experiences at the start because I used to perform solely kind of birthday parties, corporate events. That's what I did. And then around 2010, I got booked for an event where I turned up and there was a lady in a white dress. And I absolutely freaked because I was like, "Oh my god, it's a wedding! What do I do? Do I say hello to them? Do I talk to the couple? What do I do? Do I hug her? What do I do? Do I hug him? I mean, what's the social etiquette? I don't know. You know, I've never done a wedding. So anyway, long story short, it went great. Turns out you just do magic. You just have fun with people and you know, and that's what happened. And I thought, you know what, these weddings aren't bad. You know, people are a good laugh. You know, audiences are really good. You know, everyone goes to a wedding wanting a good time. So they were like, it was like the perfect audience. And that's still to this day why I continue to love and perform at weddings, because everyone goes there for fun. You know, you just have to be a good laugh and a personable person and do great magic, obviously. And, you know, you're onto a winner, basically.
And I think that's so true. And what I find so interesting is actually how many people have got into doing weddings or supplying services or whatever for weddings. And that's because they've just like fallen into it and just absolutely love it. And I really think that comes across in people's work and like yourself. Like when you turn up a wedding, like it's almost like flicking a switch and you just turn into this most fabulous entertainer. Not that you're entertaining when you're not doing a wedding. But yeah, no, you know what I mean. I was like, happy wrong here. But yeah, you just turn into incredible entertainment, and people are really lucky to have you. So,
thanks. Yeah, it's funny because
photos, and it's very, very true, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, you put it in quite a good way because it is kind of like flicking a switch. I think when you're an entertainer, you know, part of who you are is that entertainer, which is why obviously when you know, all this kerfuffle happened. I'm going to call it kerfuffle. Kerfuffle. That sounds very Johnson-esque. Kerfuffle. When all this kerfuffle happened, you know, that's what hit us really hard. I think entertainers. You know, it's bad enough having a business that's affected by this in the wedding industry, anyway. But let alone when actually what you do is your passion, your vocation. You know, part of who you are is actually as a personality, as an individual. So that's why it hit, I think, a lot of entertainers and certainly a lot of people in the wedding industry hard, because you put a lot of love and thought and care into the services you provide to a couple, and when that's removed from you, it's kind of like part of your identity has been etched away, and that's why I think that's why it's been really hard for a lot of people in the wedding industry.
It has. It is a really tough time, but we're still here and we're still planning weddings and we've still got things to look forward to. So we're plowing through. Right. So one thing I want to know, and I don't actually know this, so I would love to know, who is your inspiration magic-wise? Have you got somebody that you kind of like follow, or just do your own thing, or what's?
Do you know what? This is really hard. Oh, she looks like she's having fun.
Luckily, we had a fire extinguisher just behind you.
It looks like I didn't know what was going to happen. And then
probably didn't.
They're nice curtains. And then, who's my inspiration magic-wise? Do you know what? I could list off maybe 5 or 6 names, and no one will have heard of them, because a lot of the people who I absolutely love in magic, magician-wise, tend to be either now passed away and from years ago, or they're international acts. But actually, I tell you what, it depends how you define magic to whether someone's a magician. I'm going to get deep on you here, because, for example, why are you laughing?
I don't think I've stopped so far.
Oh, sorry, that's a good sign. So book me now. And then, no, the person who I absolutely loved as a kid growing up and still as an adult think he's absolutely incredible is Rowan Atkinson. And I grew up watching Blackadder, Mr. Bean, This Is Not the 9 O'Clock News. And that style of physical comedy with clever wit, I think really rubbed off on me as a kid. And when I became kind of an entertainer, I kind of unknowingly absorbed a lot of that. and I'm in no way suggesting that I'm anywhere near the skill or the amazingness of Rowan Atkinson, but that is who I am massively inspired by.
Well, next time I see you, Sam, I expect you to turn up in the little green. It's not even a mini, is it?
Originally, it was like a lime green colour. Then it became yellow. Yeah.
Was it yellow? Oh, I can remember is the lime green one. And I want you in that kind of tweedy suit. And I want your best Mr. Bean impression, please. When I next see you. Right, okay. I wasn't prepared for that.
No, neither was I, but it turned out it was all right.
There we go. Right. So for anybody that is actually obviously thinking about booking you for being a magician at the day and not Rowan Atkinson impersonator, what's your kind of like process? How do people get in touch with you? How do they find out about you? Talk me through the whole run.
Do you know what? I'm super kind of, I think the thing I'm most proud of from working in the wedding industry and is that I've never spent a penny on advertising. In a sense of, magazine editorials or anything like that, or Google AdWords. Over 90% of my work comes from direct recommendation from either venues like yourself, thank you very much, from other photographers or wedding suppliers who have worked with me and just pass on my details because I think they like working with me. And it works both ways, right? I do the same for other people as well. But I'm super flattered by that because it means that when people kind of find me, it's because they've heard about me and they've heard good things about me. So that's always really nice. Yeah. And then normally,
I think it's good. It's good to get that kind of pairing as well, isn't it? Like when we talk to a couple, sometimes I can be chatting to somebody and I just know straight away that I've got a supplier that I just think would work perfectly with them and just be a great match. And I think sometimes when you can see that and you suggest suppliers to people, that it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the things that you have to get over in the wedding industry sometimes when you're a supplier is that just because someone hasn't booked you, it's not necessarily because they didn't, like you or what you do or the price or whatever. It can literally just be a style thing. It can literally just because that person thinks actually, someone else feels better, is a better fit for their wedding. And that's absolutely cool. That's personal choice. But that happens a lot in the wedding industry. And I think certainly a lot of entertainers sometimes feel a little bit upset when they don't get booked over somebody else. It's almost like a personal dig. And it's not that. It's just like you say, it comes down to people. When someone comes to you and you go, oh my God, and you get excited by them because you go, oh yeah, I can see how we're going to work really well together and we can make an amazing wedding. And you can just know that. And so luckily, I'm in a very privileged position in a sense that most people that come to me or find my website have come through recommendations. They're those sorts of people. And I can have a lot of fun with them. Normally it starts off with me, rather than replying to their email that comes through my website, little form, samfitton.com/contact. Once plug. Oh, nice. Oh, you're fancy, aren't you, at Heaton House? Look at you. I love the way you put the HTTPS in there as well. No one's typing that. No one's typing that. But if you do head to there, people normally fill in the contact form, obviously. And then I don't reply to emails generally. I phone people. I love that initial phone call with people. I can tell a lot about the couple. I can tell a lot about their wedding. I get to introduce myself properly in a way an email never could. And I get to have a good bit of fun with people. So normally it starts with a phone call. And then onwards from there, depending on how that, how the anarchy ensues normally.
I think that's a really nice personal touch as well. So can people sort of, obviously you do a couple of different options for the day.
Yep.
Obviously, what would you sort of suggest? Drinks reception, more evening based? Would you sort of suggest, or would you sort of say it depends on the event? So perhaps if it's a bit more small during the day and larger at night, you can actually do both options, or what would you say?
Yeah, I think personally there's 3 really good times to have. Or certainly there's 2 amazing times, and then the third option really is both of those. So I suppose I'm exaggerating when I say there's 3. Kind of cheating a little bit there, but there's 2 really great times. There's the drinks reception, which I think is possibly the most. Yeah, I'm going to say it's the most popular option people go for. I think it's the most logical. I think it's the one people immediately jump to when they think about entertainment, wedding. For those who are watching, going, drink reception, which bit's that? That's between the ceremony and your wedding breakfast. So literally from the moment people leave the ceremony until they walk into the wedding breakfast to find their tables. That's a brilliant time because it is. I mean, if you've been to a wedding before, which you've been to a couple, haven't you, Sarah? So if you've been to weddings before, if you've been to weddings before, you'll know that this is the time basically where you leave the ceremony, you get thrust a glass of champagne, you neck that or put it in a plant if you don't like champagne. There's a drowned yucca at Heaton House Farm. It grows sideways. It's.
They don't have any yuccas.
Yeah, I made it up, Sarah, for comic value. Just go with it. Come on.
Okay.
So yeah, she's not sneezing, by the way. She's reacting to something amazing happening. Although that gentleman,
she's going to do a massive achoo, doesn't she?
Yeah, and that gentleman in the middle looks like I've just destroyed his world. Look at those eyebrows. That's incredible.
I'll tell you what I find when people do magic tricks, I find it so frustrating because obviously I want to know how they do it, and I bet that's probably what I'm thinking.
Probably, but this was, I think this was the drinks reception actually, from memory.
I would have thought so.
Yeah, I think this is the drink reception. And it's a nice time because obviously you leave the ceremony, you get your champagne, you make small talk with the people that you know, and then you just stand there awkwardly going, right, when's the food? And that's why time drags during the drink reception. So that's the truth though, isn't it? That's what happens, right? We're British. We just go, right, when's the grub? Oh, right, okay. We've got another hour and 40 minutes. Bloody hell, right. Do they sell crisps? They don't sell crisps.
We sell crisps. We sell crisps.
Yeah, £4 a pack.
£4 a pack.
I'm joking.
Honestly, oh god, I've got a dead yucca and expensive crisps now. Thanks, Sam.
They don't. I didn't even know they sold crisps. Just full disclosure. What crisps do you have? What flavors? Those are jokes.
All the regular ones. Yeah.
All the just regular.
Nothing too adventurous up here.
Okay, that's all right.
Like salt and vinegar, cheese and onion, ready salted. Yeah,
good.
classic.
I'm glad we will leave comments below about what flavour crisps they have. Should anyone who's looking to book Heaton House Farm as their wedding venue is concerned about the flavour choices available. So, but yeah, the other time that's great is the turnover. The turnover is the opposite side of the food, so it's between the food and basically the first dance. It's known as a turnover, turnaround. It's got different names depending on which wedding blog you go on, which I've always found interesting. Why people go to wedding blogs for advice? How many wedding bloggers go to weddings? Hardly anyone. It always made me wonder that. But this time is really interesting because it's basically when all your guests look at each other and go, right, what's the plan? What do we do? So that's actually a really good time to have some entertainment as well, especially as now everyone's eaten. They've dropped into food comas. And if you want to have a party, the last thing you want is a load of food coma induced wedding guests.
You need to spice it up a bit, don't you?
Yeah, you need a bit of energy, a bit of life, something going on, whether that ends up being me or some other form of interactive entertainment at that point, I find works best because it engages people, gets people off their bums, gets people moving, gets people just interacting and talking, which obviously helps build the energy. So if you've got evening guests arriving at that point, they walk into a room full of people having fun rather than people falling asleep, which obviously then sets the tone for the party in the evening. So those are the two times.
Absolutely, and we're quite lucky here. We're quite lucky. I'm going to do a little plug here, Sam. Sorry, but we're quite lucky here at Heaton House Farm because one thing I love about our venue, which is different to a lot of others, is the fact that that turnaround time that you're talking about. Ours is quite smooth because actually we've got the next room set up ready, so it's quite a smooth transition. But you're right, we find quite often when you've got some extra evening guests coming at night, you need something just to lift the spirits a little bit. Not that I'm saying like everyone's like down in the dumps, but you just need something like, you're right, after you've had a beautiful meal, you've had a few glasses of wine, you're nice and warm and cozy, you need something just to kick you up a gear, don't you, and get you into that party mood. So I think changing rooms helps, but also having some interactive entertainment of some description helps as well, definitely.
Funnily enough, I call it my party starter package. And because that's what you do, right? That's my job. I do amazing magic and blow people's socks off and all that, but ultimately the aim is to start a party. That's why I'm there.
I've never seen you do the trick where you've blown somebody's socks off yet.
No, I did once make some socks appear at Heaton House Farm for someone.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. It was a few years ago now, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there we go. That's what happened. I made some socks up here for someone. I mean, that was it. Rubbish story. Then I found 20 quid. So plot
That
twist.
story.
So yeah, absolutely. But no, you're right. Heaton House Farm does benefit from the, once dinner is finished, people can stand up and they can move to a different space, which I always think that's really important at wedding venues. Having a variety of spaces that you can use. That in itself is a form of entertainment for guests. However, it is, they get to. Why are you laughing? It's true, right? Because people stand up.
I've not seen you in a while. I forgot how funny you were. I'm sorry.
Thanks. Because it is like a form of entertainment. Because obviously, if people are in one room, have you ever spent all day in a room? That is really boring, right? Whereas if you move between different spaces, that in itself is interesting. Oh, this bar, like you've got a really awesome bar, like with the kind of the cladding and the antlers. It's really interesting. It's a fun room. It's an interesting room. And then you go in to have dinner, which is always lovely because it obviously depends how the couple have it set up, but it's always lovely because it's all nicely lit up and stuff. And then when people come back into the, where the party happens, that is a bit of a rave cave, as I like to call it. It is set up for a party. And those different spaces certainly help change the mindset of guests.
It does.
And puts them into that frame of mind. If you're expecting people to have a boogie and a dance in the same room where they've just had chicken bourguignon, like it's it's not gonna happen as easily. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, definitely. Right, I'm gonna do a little prompt now, Sam. So obviously, Sam is here and is able to answer any questions.
Oh no.
So we have a Q&A session at the end. And also, hopefully, you'll show me a magic trick in a minute which I'm very excited for.
Depends what questions come in.
Well, we haven't got too many more. So basically, if anyone's got any questions, pop them in the comments box now, and we will be asking Sam live. So it could go very badly wrong. All the questions at the end.
Awesome.
Does that sound all right?
I'm up for that. That's cool.
You're doing some work.
No, I'm just going to go onto the Facebook page to see what questions are being asked. That's what I'm wondering. I'm going to try and prepare.
Put them up on the big screen. You're all right. You don't need to worry about them.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
You're fine. So one thing I want to know is, and this is genuinely a question that I've always thought, and I've just never got around to asking you, is when you've got big parties and whatnot, how do you ensure that you get round to everybody?
I think the honest answer, if I'm brutally honest, is you can't guarantee it always.
Yeah.
And that's something which I think sometimes other entertainers and I used to struggle with, because you want to please the client. You want to tell the client, yeah, absolutely, I can get round everyone. I can see everyone. And sometimes physically you can't do that, and sometimes, it's because you've got 200 guests at a wedding, but I'm booked for 2 hours. Then for me to try and get round that number of people is like I say, it's next to impossible. My golden rule normally is per hour around 50 to 60 people. Okay. So in a 2 hour window, you're looking at roughly 100 people you can entertain. If your wedding is larger than 100 people, I'd strongly recommend either booking 2 slots, so you've got the drink reception and the turnover, or then the all day package, which I include Toastmaster stuff as well, and I'm around during the whole day. So, then you've got that option, because ultimately you can't guarantee it always. And I'm very honest with clients now. I didn't used to be, but back in the day, you just want to please people. You want to tell couples, yeah, I can do that. But sometimes you physically you just can't. And so now and people are obviously, when people inquire, they get it. Obviously, the more people you've got, the harder your job's going to be. Unless I get like 200 people all gathered round in one circle and do something, then the chances are, if I'm booked for an hour or 2 hours, then there are going to be some people in that number of guests that aren't going to, they're going to miss out a little bit.
But you'd be amazed by how many people you can actually cover, because normally people group around a little bit, don't they? Because they want to see what's going on and want to see what on earth you pull out of whatever. And
I think there is a picture from one of the first kind of weddings that I did when I'd got it. It clicked and I understood how weddings worked. And there must have been it's a fisheye lens, and it's right next to my head, and there must be about like 30 or 40 people all gathered round watching. And so sometimes that happens, sometimes people proper gather in, and, it can be quite intense for a performer, but it's good fun. I love it. So it happens, and that's kind of, it happens at wedding fairs as well, where you can be performing for 2 people, and then 2 more just kind of lean in, and then someone goes, "What's going on?" And then 2 more appear,
nosy, aren't we?
and then before you know it, you've got like a huge group of people, and the same thing happens at weddings, and that's great because then it amplifies it. Yeah, it turns it just, and then then that energy just goes out into the room, and then everyone goes, "Oh, what was that? Oh, it's this magician," and then obviously it carries on, and then the same rinse and repeat. It literally just, that energy just flows there, and it's great. But yeah, so to answer your question, honestly, it depends on the number of guests you've got.
Yeah, but that sounds good. Like, you've got options. Yeah. That's good. So, do people ever book you as a surprise for the wedding?
Yes.
Or for a surprise for their partner? And how does that happen?
Yeah, so I've been
pop out of a box.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, you joke, but
have you actually? Oh, right, I was actually joking.
I once got booked for a 60th birthday party, and they wanted me to come dressed as a traffic warden and wind up the birthday boy first. So I got a traffic warden's uniform off eBay, and this was just after I'd left the police, which, long story, go to the about page on my website, and I still had like some of the forms that you would fill in. So I walked into this party filling in like a ticket to put on the car,
no.
and in advance she'd given me like the details of the car and all this, and so that was quite funny. I think Sarah's lost a connection. That's awkward. Hello, Sarah. Earth to Sarah. We've lost Sarah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sam Fitton Show. We're now going to be doing some magic. Should we do some filler magic? Let's try this.
I'm back. Oh. Well, you can do a magic trick, though. I'm ready for this. This was the part.
I had my moment then.
I'm so sorry. Would you like me to go again? Tell you what, I'll disappear and you can do your magic trick, or is it going to be interactive?
No, we'll do it at the end. Are
you sure?
Don't worry. Yeah,
we're not far off, to be fair, because my next question was going to be, what is your favourite trick? And I was assuming you were going to do your favourite trick, but you could do something else.
No, I'm not going to do my favourite one because that's special.
Okay.
That the best magic is always in person.
Yeah.
I think that's, I can't stress that enough. That's why it works at weddings. That's it's why it works.
It's a physical thing.
Don't get me wrong; it's great watching it on TV, but the magic on TV works not only through sleight of hand and clever tricks and great performers, but through clever camera angles and editing, and that's part of the magic, right? Like with any television program. Whereas live, you don't get any of that. It's all down to the performer. It's all down to their skill and the interaction and their rapport. And that's why, for me, live entertainment is absolutely king.
It is, definitely. Now, I don't know if this is your thing. I don't think it will be, but I'll ask it anyway. Have you been watching Britain's Got Talent this year?
Yes and no.
Okay. But I was amazed by how many magicians have made it through to the final. Not amazed. Hold on. That sounds awful. It sounds like I don't believe that they do. But I was quite pleased how many had made it through. That's what I meant.
It's almost as if their head talent scout is a professional magician, isn't it? I mean, would you believe it?
I know.
He actually is. His name's.
But I thought it was brilliant, and it obviously shows how many people want to see magic as well. Like, I think that's an incredible score, isn't it?
I mean, I think especially during these times, I think magic is there to enlighten people, to bring them that little bit of hope. To bring them obviously the entertainment value, the fun, the energy, and it works great, on TV. So that's why probably, as well as obviously the lead talent scout being a magician, is probably why that there's magic on TV. It's needed at the moment.
It is.
It's needed,
It still baffles me. I love it and hate it at the same time, because I just want to know how it's done. It's brilliant. And I still don't know to this day. I'm sure you could probably, little tricks and whatnot you can pick up, but leave it to the professionals. It takes a lot of training to be as good as you guys. So, thanks. Right, Sam. So what do you want to do, Sam? Do you want to do questions, or do you want to do magic trick and then questions?
Let's do questions.
Okay. I'm so excited.
Oh, this is your mum.
Oh, my mum. Oh, this is not embarrassing at all. Hi, mum.
There's a picture of you on the little icon as well on the left. That's like your 18th birthday, I think, isn't it?
No, it's the 21st, actually. That's
Is it?
That's a long
Right,
time
okay.
ago,
Brilliant.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Penn and Teller. What would you do if you performed in Vegas?
Ooh, that's a good question, because you have been at the Edinburgh Fringe, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done the Edinburgh Fringe a couple of times. And,
Yeah.
oh, if I could go to Vegas, what trick would I do?
Would you do a full, you don't like naming lights?
That's I like that question.
That is a good question.
But it's not one that I've ever really considered, because to get to Vegas and have your own show basically means, well, you have to be an absolute like hero. Like you need to win America's Got Talent basically to get a show in Vegas. So what would I do, Margaret? Do you know what? I would love to do what I do at weddings on a stage at Vegas and see if it's still absolutely floored people. And I bet it would.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Because I've seen somebody who I won't name, obviously big magician, and I actually thought that they're normally a street magician, and they actually did a stage show, and it just wasn't the same at all. I think you need that real close interaction.
Obviously, Dynamo.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything. It was really good, like, and I was just the stage show just didn't work for me. Oh, but I'm busted.
No. I think the difference is that Dynamo is an excellent television magician.
Yeah,
there's absolutely no taking that away from him. He's phenomenal. He's got a lot of talent, and on TV he's exceptional. However, there is a different skill set involved in performing on TV and performing live for a real audience. That's on a stage. And knowing how to hold yourself on a stage and knowing how to perform live, totally different to on camera. On camera, it's a lot more scripted. It's a lot more rehearsed. There's a lot more planning that goes into it, in a sense of, oh, that bit wasn't quite right. Can we just do that again? Do it exactly the same way.
You don't get that opportunity at weddings, do you? You're right first time. You
have to be right every time and the first time, you know. So, that's why I mean, personally, why I think at weddings, you get some of the best performers, because you have to get it right. This is someone's wedding day. Like, there is no getting it wrong. And even if you do get it wrong, it's having the performer sense to be able to still pull it off and carry it off as, oh, hang on, is this going wrong? And make people question whether or not actually did that go wrong, or was that planned? Did he do that on purpose to make me think this, or blah, 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 And I think that's where your performer gene kicks in.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we've got a couple of little reviews, actually. People are saying lovely things about you, Sam. Thanks. So we'll put a couple up so you can have a little look.
Oh, cheers, Saskia.
Sam, you are crazy. I think you've read that very well, Saskia.
Thanks.
But always
I've been cooped up, Saskia. I've been cooped up. I've not had anything to do, have I? I'm like a caged animal.
I think we should have put you as one of the first weeks, not the last week. That's probably not helped either.
It's all your fault, really. If you think about it, this is your fault.
Sorry. We'll take one for the team, though. But that's a lovely comment, and it's very true. No. Very entertaining. The guests love you, and definitely great to work with as well. And then I think we have one last review.
Oh, go on.
Oh, there we go.
Mairead, I love Mairead.
Oh, so your live show in Manchester. Yes, of course. She did a live show as well.
Yeah. She came to see the preview show for my Edinburgh Fringe show. Because I always preview stuff. Audience feedback is very important, the same way the feedback's important at weddings. Ultimately your audience is right in a way. Don't get me wrong. There are some things sometimes that you think, oh, are they? No, they can't be, and then they actually more or less they are. Yeah, which is why just like in business or weddings or whatever, or on stage at the Edinburgh Fringe, I'll do a preview show. People will see the show, and whatever their feedback is, I literally send a questionnaire out after shows saying, right, what did you work out? Which tell me which bits you worked out. And I get some wonderful answers like, oh, I saw the way that you use that mechanical arm to place that playing card back on the back of that chair. And I'm like, what? What?
Did you see something I didn't?
Yeah, absolutely. You're nuts. So don't get me wrong. The customer, gives valid feedback, but it's not always right. However, you can still implement that same logic when it comes to weddings. So when I get feedback from weddings or other suppliers, or it's always put back into the, the business to make it better. Ultimately.
got to invest,
Yeah.
haven't you, all the
Oh,
time?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what set me apart. I think certainly many years ago, when I was kind of really getting into weddings and really wanted to, I suppose I wanted to be the best at doing weddings. Ultimately, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to, say that I was the best, rather egotistically. And I put a lot of time and effort into that customer journey, as it's now called. I think when I was working on it, it was just called customer service, whereas now it's called the customer journey and the customer experience. And putting a lot of effort into the back end systems, and the fact that you can log in and view your hire agreements, your contracts, you can do everything online. You can pay with a credit debit card. You can, everything's, you get nice emails sent to you. You get advice and stuff like that. And, everyone gets my personal phone number so they can contact me when they want. Obviously not in the middle of the night. Don't contact me in the middle of the night. That's weird. Stuff like that, and I invested a lot in that. And obviously that's what led me on to enter the Wedding Industry Awards. And then obviously that's how I met you guys, actually. I met you at the Wedding Industry Awards.
Many moons ago.
Yeah, back in 2014, I think that was.
Was that how long ago it was? Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that was back in 2014, 6 years ago. Literally exactly 6 years ago, because this is when the regional events would have been happening. So
it would be, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, 7 years ago.
Fabulous.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
They were such good nights.
Yeah, and that's how I got to meet you guys and your mum and dad and lots of other wedding suppliers as well. And now I'm judging it, which is weird. And I don't know. Now they've told me I can judge it. That's weird.
Oh, well, that shows how good you are then, because once you get to the top, there's nowhere else to go apart from be a judge. So there you go. Bottom down. Yeah, okay, good point. Well, don't go down. That's my top tip to you today. Don't go down. Right, but there we go. There we go, Sam. Okay, well, yeah, you completely floored me again. Oh. I should have prepared myself for you tonight.
And now for something we prepared earlier. I think in hindsight, Sarah, I know this is the last one, but maybe if you ever do any more of these, which I definitely think you should, because they're a right laugh, maybe just get me as a guest panelist every week, and I can just interject with lines. But maybe you should have like a button where when you push it, it just plays like a VT, like the Heaton House Farm promotional video, just so in case something happens, you can just be like,
cut. No, you know what? We've had some really good suppliers on. It's been really good for us as well to get to know them more as well, because actually there's been some things that we've not known about. So it's been really interesting.
Oh no, well done to you guys for doing it. I think round of applause from me and everyone else who's
thank you.
farm for actually having the effort to do it. Because it takes a lot of effort to run these. People think, it's only the internet, it's dead easy. It's only a webcam on your phone. It's really not.
No,
I mean, if I could take this off here just to show people what all this set up, and that's just as from a supplier point of view, but
we had a full-on tour of your little studio today, and it was
you did.
Quite extraordinary, as well as seeing you literally 3 minutes before we go live, screwing half of your office around and chopping bits of wood up and all sorts. And Kyle, a couple of weeks ago as well, Kyle Hassel Photography, he did a whole backdrop literally 5 minutes before he went live.
Yeah, great. Good effort to him.
It was incredible. It's been great to see how many people and what effort they've gone to as well for these. We really appreciate it. It's been good.
No.
But Sam, I think that's pretty much everything from me.
Oh, you want to see a magic trick, don't you? I can tell. Your face is just like...
That's all I ever want from you.
Okay, well, I thought I'd take this opportunity while we're live to inject some subtle marketing, because why not take the opportunity?
Business cards?
No. So the trained eye won't. Honestly, a lot of people won't spot this. So when I'm at weddings, told you it was subtle. When I'm at weddings,
it's the most unsubtle thing ever.
I know. Thanks.
You still get it right. Go on, keep going.
Look, it's been a hard 6 months. Anyway,
dear.
All right, here we go. No, when I'm at weddings, right, the most common thing people ask me to do is, yeah, mate, here's a £5. Turn it into 20 quid. Now, because I can't borrow money from you now because, well, this is the internet, not real life, You know, absolutely, yeah. So I'm gonna do it with this instead. Now it's very important that you see that this isn't a magic watch. This is just a normal watch. People accuse me of that all the time. It's just a normal watch. I've got nothing in this hand here, nothing in this hand here, and this is just a piece of paper, as you can see. Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, don't take your eyes off the note. I'm going to come really close to the camera as I do this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I told you it was subtle advertising. Don't take your eyes off the note. Here we go. If I fold it once, twice, 3 times, and hopefully, just with a blow like this, it should change into a real, genuine £20 note, like that. I know, right?
So annoying.
I know.
How you do it.
And then this is when I'd normally hand it to someone, and they'd say, you know, oh, can I keep it? And I'm like, no, of course you can't. You can keep it.
I was going to say, I'm gutted that we're not actually doing this face to face and we're virtual, because I would have totally had that 20 quid off you then.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you would. Well, normally they go to grab it, and I'm like, no, we're going to change it back. So here we go. We're going to take the £20.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have one more stab at subtly influencing your decisions of whether or not you're going to book me. And I'm going to take the £20 note, fold it once, twice, 3 times. Hopefully, this is the charm. With just a blow like this, it should change into a real, genuine, promotional material.
No expense spared.
No expense spared. I didn't write this 2 minutes before going live at all. But there you are. That is.
Oh. Well done, Sam. Well done.
Brilliant. That's magic that you can do live, because obviously I can't exactly get you to pick a card, can I?
No, well, if you wanted to.
Are you going to do reach through the internet?
No, but I could say which one I want and go stop at the right time. You see, you've just nudged your camera now.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go. Well, Sam, thank you so much. I did really enjoy that, honestly. I really do. Laugh. I really do enjoy magic. Oh, there you go. Saskia's saying bravo as well. There you go.
Brilliant. One fan. Excellent.
There you go, with a little hand clap. Lovely. But no, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. If you've loved watching Sam as well, give us a little like, or love rather, not a love or a like, either one. It was really, really good to see. So thank you so much, Sam.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And again, well done on putting this series together, because it takes a lot of effort, and you should be very proud, because it takes a lot of stuff.
I'm really proud of it. And the girls have done a great job as well, because we've all taken it in turns each week, and they've done a brilliant job. I'm really proud.
You got me.
And then I've been lumbered with you. I'm really joking. Well. Thank you so much, Sam. I just want to do a thank you to everybody that's been involved with the Supplier Showcase. We really appreciate it. We've had some fabulous feedback from couples as well, to say like how they've enjoyed sort of getting to know people, whilst at the moment it's a bit tricky to connect. So I think that's a really important thing. So I just want to say thank you to everybody, and enjoy your evening. And we're going to leave you with a lovely review of a past couple from Sam. Is that all right, Sam?
Yeah, good for me.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for joining us tonight.
See you later.